What's up, everybody? So today we're going to be going over the setup and then the how to play guide for the Kai Berserk Shared Deck TCG. So you're going to start off with your 108 card shared deck, and you're going to want to separate a few of the key components. Easiest way to go about this is to go ahead and find your location cards first. Location cards have these marker on the back of them. There are 7 total. Go ahead and flip those over and show them to you. And after you've grabbed all 7 of them, you want to just put them in a pile and place them somewhere towards the middle of your field. Then you're going to want to find your character cards. Character cards are double-sided, and they have the 5 veto circles on them. There are 6 characters in total, all with the same backing that's on the front. So you're going to go ahead and take these and just place them to the side for now. After you've separated the locations and the characters, there's a few key things you want to know about the deck. There are 3 main type of cards. You have your instant cards. Instant cards can be identified with the large instant font. Go ahead and show you a couple more. Instant. And while we're here, normal cards. So normal cards can be identified with no instant text. They just have an effect, and this means that the effect can only be used on the player's turn that has the card. Another instant card example, and another normal card example. So instant cards can be used on any player's turn. Normal cards can only be used on your turn. And then there's the third type of card, and that would be the event. There's our first event. So events are double-sided, and as you play naturally, as people draw cards, events rise to the top of the deck, and when the event is revealed, its effect activates. Now, the person who starts by shuffling the deck of the game can actually choose what side of the event they want to go to first. But using the scouting feature, anyone can come through and flip the event to a different side if they want to. So now that you've identified those, you can go ahead and shuffle your deck if it's not already been shuffled. And then we're going to go ahead and go over the how to play. So now that you've split your deck up, you can go ahead and pass out the character cards. Your players can go ahead and choose which one they want. Everyone has a favorite. I'm going to go ahead and pick Gazadiah, and then I'm just going to put Arceus over here. After passing out all the character cards, you just want to make sure that your deck is centrally located so that all players can reach it easily, and same with your location pile. So now that the game is about to begin, you're going to want to elect a cartographer. The cartographer's role is to flip over the location card every time it becomes their turn. So I'm going to go ahead and be the cartographer and start the game, and I'm going to flip over the first location card. We are in the campfire. Now the campfire has a unique effect where it changes what happens at the end of your draw phase. So players must tell a story to draw at the end of their turn, and for doing so, all players draw an extra card after their story. It is also unholy to attack in this location, which doesn't necessarily mean that you can't attack, just means it might be frowned upon by other players. So now that the first location's been revealed, you want to make sure that everyone's been passed out their 7 cards. I'm going to go ahead and pass myself out 7. And I'm going to go ahead and just pass 7 over here to the side. Now that all cards have been passed out to players, you're going to want to make sure that every player has a small object that they can use as their veto marker. I like to use a dime because they're easy to find on hand. So I'm just going to take my dime and place it on my 5 veto marker here to indicate that I have full health. We're going to go ahead and do a demonstration of attacks and natural gameplay. So here in my hand, I have an Architectian Spear, a Recon Sabotage, which is a key scouting card, Jury Rig, Parry, a block card, Ebola, and Camouflage. So I start the game off. I can attack using an innate attack per turn. This is an attack that costs no cards to use. You just say that you're going to attack player, and if they can choose to defend it or not using a card, or they just take the damage. So go ahead and look here real quick. I'm going to go ahead and attack Arceus over here. Arceus has 5 health total because he just started the game, and he's not going to defend himself. He's going to go ahead and just take the damage, and we're going to just move him down to 4 veto total. So my turn's officially over. It's now Arcee's turn. Arcee's is going to go ahead and take a look at his own hand. We have a Full Signal, a Cartographic Warfare, a Bola, a Jury Rig, another Bola, and a block card. So Arcee's is going to go ahead and choose to attack me. I'm going to go grab my hand right here, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of something called card burn. So Arcee's chooses to attack, and I'm going to go ahead and play my block card, which blocks Arcee's attack. But Arcee's has a few tricks up his sleeve, and Arcee's is going to go ahead and play a Bola. Bola cancels an instant card. So Arcee's Bola cancels my block. His attack is still technically going through. But I am going to go ahead and play Jury Rig, and Jury Rig this card. Jury Rig lets you change a card into any other card. So I'm going to go ahead and use Jury Rig as another Bola to cancel out his Bola. And then let's see if Arcee's wants to do anything else about that. So Arcee's does have an explosive charge, which can destroy any card you can see the face of. So Arcee's is pretty mad about what I did to him. He's going to go ahead and explosive charge my Jury Rig, which cancels my Jury Rig, which stops the effects of the other cards. So Arcee's initial attack 4 cards ago still goes through, and I still lose a veto. So I'm going to go ahead and move myself down to 4 now. And that's an example of card burn. Just using cards that cancel each other out, and usually it leaves over a stack of burned cards that now go over to the discard pile. As you keep playing the game of Kai, cards will keep getting burned, damage will keep getting taken. There are a lot of cards that let you heal back damage you've taken, and then there's cards that cause extra damage to be taken. A key thing to look out for in the game of Kai is that as cards get burned off the top of the deck through draws or various other means, events begin to rise to the top of the deck. Here's your first event card. This is the colon. So, as somebody would be drawing, I'll just show you an example real quick here. Let's say it was Arcee's turn, and then Arcee's ended his turn. He would draw the top card, and the colon would be revealed. From that point on, the game is kind of paused, and the colon is the center of attention. So you can read on the colon here, Death Vote. Discard any number of cards in front of other players. The player with the most cards placed in front of them dies. If there is a draw, all players die. Survivors draw 3 cards. So in this case, the colon would be the center of attention, and all players would stop what they're doing, and they would place cards in front of other players. The person with the most cards would get voted off, and they would lose. So I, for example, with the many cards in my hand, could just take all of my cards if I wanted and place them in front of Arcee's over here. Arcee's could take his hand and place it in front of mine. I have more cards in front of Arcee's, so Arcee's would just die instantly. And then all the people left over would get to draw 3 cards and continue on the game. If you're playing a 1v1 format like I'm demonstrating here, I'd recommend probably leaving the event cards out because they're generally catered towards higher player count, so typically 3 to 6 players, and the more is always the better in Kai. Events seem to feel more natural when you're up in the 4 to 5 player range because there's more option and more diversity there. That's about it for a rough overview of the game of Kai. Just a key couple things you want to look out for once again is that remember the cartographer, the person who starts the game and goes first, every time it becomes his turn, at the start he wants to flip over a new location every time. There are certain cards in the deck that have location-specific modifiers. I'll go ahead and give you an example of one of those real quick. So Pitfall, for example here. Pitfall has this initial effect, but you can see Pastlands right here. It has a secondary effect. So as long as your location is in the Pastlands, which Battlefield is not, so you couldn't use this card. But if you were back in Campfire, which is a Pastlands card, you could use that secondary effect. So always be on the lookout for those location-specific effects. And also remember that on your turn, you can really do 3 actions. You can use your innate attack, you can use any normal card effects that you want, and then you can draw to end your turn. And then on any other player's turn, you can play instant cards on your own behalf or on behalf of other players if you choose to team up against somebody or just try to defend yourself. And that's about it for the setup and the initial overview of Kai. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And the next video will be on the sandbox mechanic of Kai. That's basically building your own deck mechanic. So I look forward to putting that out to you guys.